Hi everybody, another lesson here on e-marketing. Now that we're in the subject of blogging, as we started in the previous lesson, we're going to talk about syndication. And if we go right into the lesson overview, we're going to talk about how to syndicate your articles and blogs. Okay, now the reason of syndication is it's very simple. It's to spread the message or spread the message of your blog. And you know how you syndicate a show or a radio show? You're basically using different channels. Okay, you're using different channels or different mediums, okay, as if you will, okay, to host your, let's just call it your media. Okay, so in other words, you know, a talk show host on a radio will probably sit in a studio like this. They'll have a microphone. They'll go ahead and talk. They'll take phone calls. They'll do and produce their show. In the meantime, that show is being shared by different stations all across the world if they're popular. Okay, Rush Limbaugh. Well, I shouldn't have mentioned that one. But anyways, you know, Howard Stern. For those who like, boy, I'm really shooting myself in the foot here. But anyways, these talk show hosts are syndicated nationwide. They're all over. So they're in a single studio and they're doing their show, and it's being aired everywhere that they've made a contact with. And it can be syndicated anywhere, anytime, any channel, from New York to San Diego, anywhere. That's the whole purpose of syndication. Same thing with TV programming. Okay, for those of you who like some of the shows, America's Got Talent, Two and a Half Men, all these shows are syndicated. So it may appear on Channel 7 in Los Angeles and New York, maybe Chicago, but it may appear in a different channel in other parts of the nation. But regardless, syndicated means it's being shared and it's being spread to different parts of, the world or the country, and it can appear in different different areas. So same thing with blogging. Your articles are syndicated. Now, that is what is a syndicated columnist does for a newspaper. Their articles, they write it, they send it out. Somebody sends it out to all different types of newspapers anywhere in the world. So AP, for instance, is a very popular news source whose articles and their reporters, their information gets syndicated all over the world. News Corp is another bigwig of a newspaper or news and media information. Their stuff gets syndicated all over. Of course, they own Fox News and several other, the Wall Street Journal, things like that. So the whole idea to get your blog, now for us little smaller guys, we want to be able to syndicate our information as much as possible. We got to work a little harder. Okay, we may not be blessed with TV and radio, but we are all blessed with the internet. And the whole idea of syndication is, well, you want to be able to use every medium possible. And so we want to be able to share our information in different websites. Now, the way we do it, of course, and I'll go ahead and use a different pen here, social media. Okay, there are other sites that are known as article submission sites. Okay, there are RSS feeds, which we will discuss most probably in an upcoming lesson. So these are the three ways of syndicating your article. And of course, in hopes that a smart way to blog is definitely have a link back to your website. Okay, that's what we want to do. We want to add a link back to your website. And that's really all there's to it, okay? And the more areas and the more ways and the more websites that have your article, the more traffic appears, and of course the search engines love it. They'll give you higher rankings. Now, another thing we're going to talk about is a website called Addit, okay? Addit.com, which helps with syndication, and we're going to go over that in just a moment over here. But if we move on to the next slide, we're going to go over different syndicating sites. Okay, Facebook is one of them, obviously. Now, whenever you type a blog and you can obviously copy and paste that into Facebook. You can copy and paste the web address into Facebook. Another, this is actually a social networking site. Obviously, we know that. Same thing with Twitter. Okay, social networking site. You can copy and paste the URL as long as it's maintained within the boundaries. You can go ahead and add that to your Twitter account. Now, these other little websites, such as Reddit and, of course, there's Stumble Upon, and there's a few, and Tumblr. These are what is called article submission. Okay. In other words, their whole existence is to accept articles from other people, so they help syndicate it. Okay. Now these, of course, email is not, but it's another way of syndicating. You can send email if you have a large email list. Okay, you can add this. You can also encourage people to add your article to your favorites. Okay, the nice thing about this whole thing is that again, over hundreds of millions. Of course, with Facebook leading the way, there's probably 200 million people who have an account of this degree somewhere out there. Okay, and let's go ahead to the browser and show you exactly what I mean. Now, a lot of you probably have seen something like this on a website. Here's the educator.com website, okay, educator.com. And on the upper right, they have YouTube, they have Facebook, and they have a like button, and they have a Twitter account. So you want people to go ahead and click on those different mediums and join, because it's a lot easier to keep people informed using those mediums as opposed to your website. After all, that's where the traffic goes. Okay, in other words, it's sort of like a shopping mall. You know how people, if you're a store and you're located in the middle of a desert, you're just dependent upon, well, freeway traffic. How often are you going to get customers? But if you take that store and put it in the middle of a mall, well, now the scenario is different. Okay, you've got a lot more foot traffic, a lot more potential for revenue. Okay, so this is one case right here. Sorry, I'm moving things over. Anyways, this is the different icons for the different social media. Now, of course, another thing is, let's go to another website. Okay, see if I type that right. Okay, let's go here. Okay, in this case, this website over here on this bottom row, they have even additional sorts of links. Okay, you see that? Facebook, Twitter. Now, notice that none of these are basically article submission websites, as I mentioned. Well, let's go to my blog, okay? Because I'm basically talking about a website here. Now let's talk about a blog. Now notice that, again, I've got the same buttons, but that was before I noticed that WordPress allows for these little share buttons. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size so you can kind of see it. You don't have to worry about. The title of this blog is National Geographic Photo of the Day, which I share with a lot of my subscribers. But notice that over here we can share this on different web mediums. For instance, here's Stumble Upon, here's Reddit, and here's Pinterest. So if I click on Reddit, okay, it'll take me to this page, the login, and I can go ahead and log in, obviously, because you have to have an account with these things. And then I can submit this article. It'll go back to your website. Now, that's just me doing it. What I want is other people around the world to have the same impact, okay? Do the same thing. They should be able to click on an icon on a web page that they are affiliated with or they have an account with and share that article over there. And believe me, with over 7 billion people on the planet, somebody's going to submit your article and share it. Again, you want to be able to create as much articles as possible, syndicate it all over the place. Okay, so let's go back to the slide again. You notice that these are the different kind of icons that you see here. I'm going to go back to the browser, okay, and I'll go ahead and log this off. Now notice that I have these icons here, the Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTubes. I hand coded them each into this code, and I realize now I didn't have to do that because in WordPress Okay, now if I go log into WordPress, and I'm going to minimize this a little bit because obviously, because I want you to see, whoops, sorry. Let's go ahead and shrink this. There it is right there. Now, here is the article right here, National Geographic. Now, if I scroll down, notice that I have a share and likes section right here. I can put, okay, and I'll increase again. We have to increase and decrease here. I can select show sharing buttons on this post. It's checked. As a result, it shows up here. Now, if I uncheck it, and then I update it, okay, we'll wait till it updates, hopefully sooner than later. What's going to happen now, okay, it's been updated. Now we'll go ahead and update this. Now watch this section right here where it says share this. Okay, if I refresh it, well, it disappears. So all I'm left is with what you have here. The icons are gone. So I don't want that. I'm just going to go ahead and check it again. And I will go ahead and update. Okay. And once it's updating, okay, those icons will appear one more time. Okay, and that's exactly what I want. So I don't have to have these icons over here anymore. I don't have to bother hand coding them. And that's really nice. So not all of us have WordPress accounts, obviously. So what if you're in a situation where you want to add this to your website? If you have to make, okay, like for instance, I don't know if Blogger.com has this situation, and other blogging software may not have a functionality where you can automatically add the share buttons there. Well, here's a nice website to go to. It is called addthis.com. So I'm going to go back to the slide, okay, and type it in. Here it is right here. I mentioned right here, add this. So it's addthis.com. Okay, and that's where you want to go to. Going back to the browser. Okay, the whole idea is to increase traffic by helping visitors share to Facebook, Twitter, and other social sites. If I go back one, okay, notice it'll tell you what this is all about. Sharing, following, welcoming, trending. Of course, you get analytics. If you want to get the code for your site, you click here. And what you normally do is, I'll just go ahead and X out that. Now, you can add all this to your website and get a preview. If you have different styles, for instance, maybe you want a larger icons, okay, notice that under preview right here, it'll change accordingly to the style that I want. Okay, now this is even smaller, and maybe I want this situation over here, okay. Most people like this right here, and then what happens is you basically copy and paste this code here, it generates it for you, and add it to your website or blog. And pretty much you can share your articles to the world. It's very, very powerful. Again, you want to syndicate your articles because why? You want people to read, to know about you, and then link back to your website and find out even more about you. And so go ahead and start sharing your articles. This is Jim here on educator.com. Stay tuned for the next lesson.